Hey, it's Haley back again. So, if you remember in the last part of my story, my best friend Kurt turned into a jealous jerk, all because he didn't get the opening solo in the concert. And being the sweet and caring guy that he is, Eric took me out to cheer me up. We were chatting about all things on Earth. He really helped ease my mind. But suddenly, there was an awkward silence. Then Eric said,
Haley, these last few months getting to know you have been so amazing. I was wondering if you'd consider, being my girlfriend?
"Oh my God, I never expected him to say that." I stared at him open-mouthed.
So?
He looked at me. That's when I realized that he was still waiting for my reply. It'd be a lie to say that I haven't thought about him in that way before. In fact, at that moment, I was so happy. I just wanted to give him the biggest hug right away. But instead, I clumsily told him to give me a little time. It was just a slip of the tongue due to me being nervous. But before I could correct myself, I saw his reaction. He couldn't even keep his cool anymore, and his hopeful face turned into an obvious frown. He looked like a little sulky puppy. Why does he have to be so cute? He told me,
Of course, but that means I still have a chance, right?
I couldn't help but smile and winked. Maybe. Then he drove me home. Before I got out of the car, I whispered to him, "Yes, I'll be your girlfriend," and quickly kissed him on the cheek, then ran as fast as possible into my house. My heart was beating so fast, and I peeked through the window to see him dancing and smiling beside his car. My boyfriend was just the cutest. We started dating and soon became the it couple in swing club. The other kids were always commenting on how perfect we were together. Everything was going so well. I not only had a solo in the concert, but I'd also get to duet with Eric, and our relationship was growing from strength to strength. Every day, I woke up to his good morning text, which included a voice message of him singing some sweet tunes for me. Then later at school, he gave me my favorite candy and a bottle of water to keep me hydrated throughout practice. He was just the best. The only downside in my life was Kurt, who barely spoke to me since the backpack incident. I missed him like crazy, but there was no excuse for the way he was acting, as I hadn't done anything wrong. I was just going to give him space and hope he'd eventually come around. Finally, the day of the concert arrived. And whoa! Miss Anderson had chosen to mention my performance, complete with my picture to promote the event in the local press. I was so happy and proud of myself. Now, I just had to make sure I didn't mess it up. Luckily, I didn't. Even though I was super nervous, the duet with Eric went amazingly. I was so proud of him for not letting his nerves get in the way. The concert was a success as a whole. We were on the local press and news again after that. And guess who was featured on them the most? Yes, it was Haley Miller again. Then, a few days later, there were even rumors circulating school that a representative from a record label in LA was at the concert and that they had their eye on someone. That's it! It had to be me, right? I sang my heart out, and even kids I didn't know were coming up to me and telling me how I was the star of the show. I was so excited to go to the club meeting and hear my name announced. I walked into the room with a huge smile on my face. Then Miss Anderson made an announcement. As you all know, it's been leaked out that a label representative is interested in one of you. Well, I can now confirm that this is true. And the person in question is our very own Eric Jones. Congratulations, Eric. Eric looked so shocked, but not as me. Thousands of things went through my head. I was so overwhelmed, while the other kids clapped and cheered, and I just forced myself to do the same. I know he's my boyfriend, and he's very talented, but as you see, I'd been the one singing the closing solo. I was the one having strangers congratulate me, and I was the one on the press. While everyone was praising Eric, I swiftly left and went home. Eric kept on texting and calling me, but I ignored them all. I just needed some time alone to process my feelings. I didn't want to feel jealous of him, but I couldn't help it. I knew it was wrong, but wait. No, maybe it was not. I had the right to be upset, since I too had worked so hard for it, right? That night, I felt so down that I even skipped dinner and locked myself in my room with all these thoughts. Failure sucks. And sure, it's not easy to face it, but I knew I had to accept the truth. Sooner or later, Eric did nothing wrong, and he deserved it. So I shouldn't make him feel bad for achieving his dream. So I sent Eric a message arranging to meet him tomorrow. I should at least properly congratulate Eric and apologize to him for my childish reaction, right? We met in the park, by the duck pond. Eric was already waiting for me, and I noticed how he looked so sad. I walked over to him and said, "Hi, Eric. Look, I've been a brat, and I'm so sorry. I was just disappointed in myself, so I wasn't ready to talk. But I'm okay now, and for sure. You deserve this opportunity. I know that. I'm so happy for you. I truly am." I held his hands and smiled, trying to cheer him up. He replied,
It's okay, Haley. It must have been hard for you. I know you meant well.
He smiled back.
Just so you know, I've turned the offer down anyway. I'm not ready to leave this town. Or, you, just yet.
Whoa, this was crazy. As if he'd actually turned down the opportunity of a lifetime for me. Then he continued,
Besides, I'm not confident enough yet. I still get such bad stage fright. I know this is for the best.
I hugged him and told him that I respected his choice and that even if he wanted to take this offer, he'd still have 100% of my support. To be honest, I did feel such a big relief, so things could carry on to be the same again. We're back as normal students again and wouldn't have to worry about dealing with a long-distance relationship. But then, I kept thinking about it. The more I thought, the more this made no sense. Nerves or not, he couldn't give up on his dream, could he? If that was me, I would never, ever let that chance slip away. My time is yet to come, but it's Eric's time now. I had to tell him to accept the offer before it's too late. I rang him, and as soon as he answered, I blurted out, "You have to accept the offer, else you'll regret it forever. Don't miss the chance just because of me. I'm fine with it and fully support you. I'm serious." Eric told me to stop overthinking, and that it was too late anyway, as the guy from the label, Will, had a flight back to LA that evening. Oh no! I didn't know what to do. All I knew was I needed to do something, so I immediately called Miss Anderson and giving her a brief sum-up of the situation and asking her for Will's number. She sent it over to me, and I tried calling him, but there was no answer. Okay, at least I knew he hadn't boarded yet. Time was of the essence, so I immediately took my mom's car keys and drove to the airport in search of this guy that I'd never even met. I checked for flights to LA, and thank God there's only one, and it still hadn't departed. I crossed my fingers as I called Will's number again. To my utter relief, he picked up. I rambled out who I was, and he told me we could meet, as he hadn't gone through security yet. Phew! I met Will in front of the departure board. I briefly introduced myself again, then he asked me,
So, what can I do for you?
I immediately muttered out, "Please give Eric another chance. He's so talented, and since joining the swing club, he's gotten so much better. I'm positive that with professional training, he will grow even more. You saw something in him, so please give him another shot. He won't disappoint you. I promise." Will was silent for a second. I got impatient, so I added, "He refused your offer the first time because he wasn't thinking straight. He really wants to sing. Singing is his passion." Finally, Will said,
Okay, all right. Tell him he has 5 days to prepare, and he has to come to LA.
Then he gave me his card and went to the check-in counter. I'd done it! This was crazy! But I was so relieved that I'd succeeded. I doubt I would have been able to live with myself. Phew! It was super late, but this didn't matter. I went straight to Eric's house and told him everything. He was so shocked and touched, and also worried for me for driving such a long way to the airport alone at night to do all this for him. Then he hugged me tight and thanked me. But then I realized that we only had 5 days left together, so we promised each other that we would make those 5 days memorable. In the mornings, I would help Eric practice his singing, and in the evenings, we would go out. Eric asked me to make a list of all the things I would like us to do. I just wanted to be with him and treasure every second we're together, so I said, I just want to ride the giant wheel. Eric looked a bit confused at first. Then he said,
Is that all? We could do something else if you wanted.
Nah. I shook my head. The giant wheel sounds perfect. Besides, what's better than seeing the town I care about with my extremely cute boyfriend? So, the day before Eric left for the starry heights of LA, we went to the giant wheel, which was in an amusement park on the outskirts of town. We bought some hot dogs and ate them while riding it. When we reached the top, the view up there was just beautiful. We held hands and enjoyed it together. Then Eric asked me why I chose the giant wheel to hang out. I replied, well, when I was little, my family used to come here, and my parents always told me the story of how they met at this giant wheel. It was in the evening. My mother was already in one of the cabins, and then my father came in too. He didn't know somebody was already in there, but when he noticed it was already taken, it was too late. He couldn't get out. And so, 2 strangers had to sit together in a super small wheel cabin. At first, it was super awkward. But then they started chatting, and from that moment on, their love story began. My mother always told me to bring someone special here. She said this place has something magical, because it could make 2 strange people fall in love. So that's why I brought you here, because you are my special one. Eric looked at me with wide open eyes.
I will come back and help you fulfill your dream to become a professional singer. Please, wait for me.
Then he kissed me, and it was the most magical moment of my life.